Hello everyone, welcome to week 3 of the PR4 course. So today what we're going to do, we're going to start by giving you a solution to the last problem we gave you in the week 2 tutorial. And we're also going to look at setting up sites again today. But once we've found the solution for the week 2 tutorial, we're going to build upon that, as you see here, and we're going to make a more comprehensive website. So this was the basic page that we asked you to do to complete at the end of week 2. As you can see, we're using the entire browser window. So we've styled the body tag, or the body of the HTML. We have put in a header tag. Inside the header tag we have an H1 tag. After that we have a navigation tag, and here you see it's black. Then we have a section on the left there what we call the article tag, and a section on the right which we're going to call the aside tag. So we'll build these up in Dreamweaver, and then later in the lesson we'll start adding in more content to create a more comprehensive looking website for us that will lead us on into week 4. So the first thing we'll do is we'll set up our site, and we'll just do it again from the desktop this time. So as we did last week, we create a new folder, we'll call this week 3, open that up, we'll create 2 new folders inside, one for the images and one for the CSS. Okay, and we'll just check that. We can click here, click outside, that's good. So we get the week 3 folder, inside that a blank CSS folder and a blank images folder. Now if you open up Dreamweaver, I'll just close this down just now, we'll create a new HTML page by just selecting here. We'll call this one week 3. Title, we'll just click here create, and then we'll very quickly create a new CSS page like so. Just click there. So we have an untitled CSS and an untitled HTML. So what we'll do now is we'll save these 2 documents into that folder structure that we made on the desktop, like so. So we'll just go up to the menu and we click File, Save As, and we'll navigate to the desktop and I'll find that folder which is week 3, and we will just call this one, we won't call this index this time, we'll just call this one W3 so we know where we are. I'm making quite a lot of tutorial files, so it's easier for me to do it this way. So I'll just call it week 3, and I'll just click save. It's saved it because it's given the name here. We'll now click on our CSS page, file, save as, find the correct folder on the desktop, inside week 3, inside CSS, and I'll call this one as well W3 week 3. We can check here PC desktop week 3 inside CSS, and then we click save. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my HTML page and I'm going to link the CSS page to it. So I can go File, Attach Style Sheet, and then I can navigate to the folder where I've saved my CSS page. Simply click Browse, Desktop week 3. This is my HTML file. Click in the CSS folder, week 3, and then I click OK. And again, just link it, click OK, and we can see the link here has verified that we're now linking the CSS week 3 to our week 3 HTML page. So the next thing that we need to do, we need to set up our sitemap. Okay, so we need to create our site directory and define the site. So if we go up to site on the menu and we click new site, again we get the pop-up box appearing, and in the site name input box we'll call this one week 3 tutorial. And the local site folder, we'll navigate to our desktop again and we'll find our week 3 folder like so. Click select folder. Then we go to advanced settings. Click on the local info and we are going to find our default images folder. Which is week 3 and there's nothing in it, so we just click it to select it and then we click save, and that's us now mapped our new site. The first three things that we'll do is we'll change the body colour of the HTML page. We'll put in a header tag to span across the top of the page, and we'll put inside that an H1 tag to hold the title of our page. So good practice just now is just to click return, because this is all the area that we're going to work with that actually shows any HTML physically in the browser. Within the head, as you know, contains all the metadata like the title or links to our CSS page, etc., or the char set, but all the HTML that we've been working with to create the images, to create buttons, to create the div tags, etc., all goes within the body. So it's good to just create a lot of space here so we can see where we're working. So if we now switch to our CSS page, we can simply click body, open up a tag and close the tag, and then we'll just give this a background colour. We can tab down and we can pick here any colour we like. And let's go with cadet blue just now. Okay, so that's already updated that, which is quite nice. Then we go back to the source code, and inside the body, as I said, we'll create the header tag. So this will span across the head of our page. So type in header, close the tag for us, and it's good to, again, to indent the code like so, so we know where it opens and when it closes, and then we can immediately go to our CSS page and we can begin to style our header tag. Now, because that's a semantic HTML5 tag, we don't have to give it a point before it like we do with a class or a hakia. So we can just type in header, open the ampersand and close the ampersand there. And what we'll do here is we'll give it a width, and because we want it to go across the entire browser, we'll just say 100%. Like so, 100% like so, and then we put a semicolon in to close it. We'll give it a height, HEI, like so, and we can maybe say this time we can give it a height of, say, for example, 150 pixels. Okay, and then we'll give it a background colour of grey, just so that we can recognise the difference between that tag and the actual body of the HTML. So click in here, background colour, and we can already find it by tabbing through, and we'll just find the grey. I think that's it here. Oh, that's black. Try something else. We can go to the colour picker even, and we can just select a colour like so, and it gives us a hexadecimal number like that, and we just close that one off. So let's just see how this looks just now. So we'll just go File, Save All, and if we look in our browser we can see we've changed the body colour. We have the header going across the entire page like so. So let's just try a couple of changes here just now to play around. Imagine we made the width of the browser, say for example, or the width of the header 80%. Let's change it like so. And then if we wanted to have that aligned in the centre, what we could then do is we could put a margin on either side. A margin left, and we give it an auto, and a margin right, also auto, and that means it automatically recognises the distance. It will take up 80% of the browser space and then automatically align it in the centre like so. So that's quite a nice trick, and a lot of websites you see these days have their have a nice frame around them like so. So we'll go back to that and we'll change it again. We'll take these two out at the moment. We'll maybe look at that a bit later. Change it back to 100% like it was in the previous tutorial. And the next thing we'll do is we'll make our H1 tag. So within the header, I'm going to put some content for a title or a logo, and we'll just make H1. And we will say this is our title. And I think I've said this is our header tag, but it doesn't really matter. So when we go back to our CSS, we can click H1. And this is a default settings for the HTML, the H1 tag, so we can also change that. So we can say, for example, font family, and we might try, let's see, Helvetica. Maybe take some of these out. These are font families, so basically if your computer doesn't have Gotham installed or Arial installed, it will give you the closest font to it, for example, Helvetica New. So I quite like the Helvetica New font, so I'll just take these out, close that off, and colour, and I'll try white. Well, it doesn't make such a difference to the font there, so I'll try another font family. Let's see. I'll try these ones. Okay, that's a bit better. And then perhaps we might want to make this sit in the centre of our header, so we could just go align. Sorry, text align, and click centre, like so. So let's see if that's file, save all, and we should be able to see that now in our browser. So that's beginning to look quite nice. We are kind of limited to the fonts we have installed on our own PC or Mac. So what's really interesting to do from a design perspective, if to look at what we've got here is Google Fonts. Okay, so if we just type in fonts.google.com, and we can see all these fonts that are available to us to use. We can search, for example, if we want just specifically fonts that are kind of look like handwritten, we can search for them. These might be quite nice for a logo, etc. If we want a display font, for example, for a heading, it's quite a nice one here. So let's say we want to see, we want to use this font. So we could take this one here by just selecting it like so, which is called Comforta. I've already played around. So what we do is we basically get a link to embed in our head of our HTML, like so. So I can take this link here, Control C, go back to my HTML page, and I can paste a link into the head that I've just been given for the Google font there. So it's basically linking to Google Fonts, and it's telling me that I can use that Comforta Montserrat Railway font here. Now I need to basically assign that properties to a font. So at the moment we have one font here, or one piece of text that we're using, which is this H1. So what we need to do again is we'll need to go back to the Google Fonts, and we can take in, the one we're using is Comforta, so we can take that here, Control C, back to Google Fonts, and if we want to apply that style to H1, we go to our CSS, and instead of using this font family, we can just delete that, Control C, Control V, sorry, and that's now changed the previous font family to this one, which is linked to Google Fonts. So that's a really nice trick. So play around here, have a look at some of the interesting fonts. It's quite nice when you're designing a web page, you use maybe a mix of about 3 fonts. One really nice heading font, and maybe 2 fonts for your body text, and one for example, you know, a heading for your body text, or a heading for the paragraph, and some something else, just to give a nice bit of contrast. So play around and try out some different styles if you like. Now the next tag we make is our nav tag. So this will be after our header tag, as we see in our previous example. This comes directly after the header. So what we need to do is we need to find the end of the header tag. Here it opens, here it closes. So just put our cursor there, and then we can click return. It's also nice to tab in a little bit, and then we'll just click in nav. There's the nav opening and the nav closing. Okay, now we can't actually see that, so if I just type in, for example, nav, we can see where it should be on the page in there. So sometimes I like to just do this just in order that I can see where the tag should be. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll go back to our CSS, and we'll give that a style. So we go beyond the H1 tag, and we just type in nav, open bracket, and what we'll do is we'll give that a width. Now we want this to go across the entire browser as well, so we'll give it a width of 100%. And in order that we can see it, we'll give it a height as well, and we'll say this time it's maybe 50 pixels, so it's a bit smaller than our header tag. And also a background colour, like so, and we'll just pick in, let's see what we have. We'll try that, not so nice. Yeah, I think it was black in the previous one. So we click like that, like so, and that is our navigation bar done. So again, if you wanted that a bit bigger, we could create 100 pixels, but smaller, 70, etc. But we'll go for, say, 50. Back to the source code, I'll take this out just now. And inside the nav, we had an H3 tag. So we'll give ourselves some space, and we'll just type in H3. And inside that, we'll type in this is our navigation bar, for example. Okay, we can't see that because the default font colour is black. So if we go to our CSS, type in H3 and we can assign properties to that. And again, we can go back to Google Fonts if we like, try another font. We can give that colour, try white. There's our navigation bar, we'll give it font family. Let's see what's nice. We'll maybe go back to, try this one, see what that looks like. Not so nice, but it'll do just now. So then we'll go back to our source code, and the next thing we'll do is we'll put in our article and our aside tags. Now, to speed things up a little bit, I've already put in my article tag. So here it opens and here it closes there. And inside that, I put another H1 tag like so. After the article's closed here, sorry, the articles are closed here, I have put in my aside tag, which opens here and closes there. And inside that, I've got an H2 tag. So back to our previous example, we can see that the article and the aside cover 50% of the browser window or the web page, as we can see. And we can see where our H1 tag is and our H2 tag is there. So that the H1, sorry, is a bit bigger than the H2. This is just so we can differentiate between what tags we're working with. So what we now need to do is to go to our CSS page and we'll style and block out the colours of these tags in order that we see them. So we'll just go down after our H3 tag here, and because again the article tag is a semantic HTML5 tag, we don't need a hack here in front of it or a point, as it's not a class. So we'll just type in article, open and close the brackets, and we'll give this a width of 50%. So it goes off over 50% of the browser. Next thing we'll do, we'll give it a height, and we'll make this 500 pixels, so it's quite a large tag. And a background colour, and we will give that, say, that base colour, like so, in order that we see it. Okay, now again, same for the aside. And because we're using the same properties, we could just cut and paste. The only thing we'll do differently is we'll change the background colour. And we'll maybe make that like so. Okay, now the next thing we'll do is we'll align these two tags beside each other. So let's look at how our page is looking in the browser. Now you can see that we just made our article tag and our aside tag like so. And the way that they are just now, they stack on top of each other. Now I've already added in my H1 tag and styled it within the article tag, which takes upon the properties that I've already made. So there's the H1 tag here. We've already styled the H1 tag like so. We've now got an H2 tag using the same font, except we've changed the size of the font in the CSS. So we're telling the font H2 to be size 14 pixels. Now the next thing we'll do is we want to take this tag here and move it so that it sits side by side next to the article tag. And the way that we do that is we need to wrap a tag which we'll call a container around the article and the aside tag. And the properties that we apply to this container tag will be inherited by the article and the aside tag in order that we can control them better. So now we're back on the HTML page, and we'll create a new div, and we'll call this div class container, and we'll have it wrap around the article and the aside, and also containing within that the h1 and h2 tags. So right type in div class equals, we'll call this container. Okay, so that's the closing tag here. So what we can do is we can just take that, cut it out, and then we can paste it in below the aside tag. So we can attach a special property to this one called flex. So if we go down, tap down, and because this one's a class, in order to reference it in the CSS, we need to type in punt or a dot, container, open bracket and close, and we'll give this one the property of display, like so. And we have many different options we can use, but this one we're going to use flex. And when we do this, we should see the aside tag align directly in line with the article tag, like so. Okay, so that's a very powerful tool, or a very powerful trick, CSS trick. So we can do that also with our menus, with many other tags, and tags contained within other tags. So that is us done the homework, a little solution for the homework what we did last week. Just done one extra change. You can notice when I collapse the browser that the article and the aside don't go all the way to the very end. And what I've done here is I've just put another bit of code in, which is called min width, the minimum width. So it means when you collapse the browser, these two tags will have at least a minimum width of 500 pixels. So it makes sure that any content contained within inside it, for example text, when you make the browser smaller, it will still display it correctly, like so. So well done if you've got to this point. If not, just keep trying out, just rewind the video, try and ask some questions in class if you need to. But what I'll do now is I'm just going to enhance this page, add in a few more tags in order to tidy it up, and again next week I'll offer a solution as to how you can complete that if you don't manage it on your own. So thank you for watching this tutorial, and the challenge for next week is to take the basis of what we've designed there and to try and make it into this more comprehensive styled page. So we still retain the header and the nav, and what I put inside the nav is a working menu. So I'll give you a little clue. Look at display inline block tutorials, and that will help you find out how you can make the menu like this, and also to put a button hover in order to change the colour of the text when we roll over it. Okay. Now you saw that we made a container before, and inside the container we had an article and an aside. Well, this time I've removed the container and I've made, well, I've not removed the container, I've taken the article and aside outside the container, and I've put in instead 3 different sections here. So see if you can figure out how to do that with the display flex property that we did previously. And then below that I've got a main column, and inside the main column I've got 2 sections of content with just a simple paragraph and some strong text here. So if you can try this out in class this week, I can point you in the right direction. And just good luck with it. Just keep trying away. Look at W3C schools. I'll open some of these windows just now, and you can see here you can get a lot of good information on flex, a lot of nice examples, and you'll see some of the things that I've used. You'll see different variations of it. So you can simply cut and paste some of the HTML and some of the tricks that you learn here, and paste it into your own working site. And again, next week we'll work more with images. We'll do more complex layouts. But anyway, good luck with it, and see you all next week. Bye bye.